Hi everyone, welcome you all. In the today's video, we will see how to work with CSV files in Java. So basically the CSV files we can use to specify the test data for automation. And most of the times we will have data in the CSV file and we will read the data and we use the data for our testing. So the CSV files we can create through Notepad or through Excel file. The file extension should be .csv. And most of the times the data will be maintained by separated by commas in CSV file. So now we'll see in Java how can we create a new CSV file which contains some data. And once we have created a CSV file, then we will see how can we read the data from the CSV files using Java. So here I have created a new member project. In this, I'm going to create a new package. I'll name it as CSV files and click on finish. Now I'm going to create a new class. First, I will show you how to create a new CSV file and how can we add data in the CSV file. So I'll name it as CSV file writer. And now click on this main method and say finish. Okay, now we have created a new class and which contains main method. Now I'm going to create a new CSV file. So before creating, we have to see where exactly we want to create the file. So you can create a file anywhere else, and also you can create a file inside the project itself. And I already created one data folder inside my project. And in this file, in this folder, I'm going to create a new CSV file. So currently I don't have a CSV file. I have a sample properties file. I can also delete this. So currently I don't have any files in my data folder. Now I want to create a new CSV file. So for that, we need to create, we'll take one variable which hold the path of the CSV file where you want to create. So I'm taking one string variable. I'm taking one string variable and I'll name it as CSV file name equal to, and here I want to create a file inside my data folder, and this is a part of my project. So first I will extract the project location, and inside this I will go to data folder. So to get a current location of your project, I can use this method system dot get property of user dot dir. So this will return the current project directory or location, and inside this I will specify data folder, and inside this I can give some name to the CSV file. So for example, I say example dot CSV. So the file extension should be dot CSV. So this particular variable is representing the file which we are going to create inside the data folder. Now, so we have to use something called file writer class to create a CSV file. I can say file writer. So by using this file writer class, we can do it. So file writer. For that, I'm creating an object called writer equal to new file writer, and in this we need to pass the location where you want to create a CSV file. I'm just passing here and then semicolon. So this file writer we have to import from java.io package, and this will throw some exception. Just add this. Now, so once you created a writer object from the file writer, now we can add data in the particular file. So this writer is representing the CSV file now. So we can add data in the CSV file. So you can directly add data by using append. This is a method which is available. So through this, we can add data in the CSV file. So first of all, let me add some header part, and I can say name, comma, age, comma, email. So I'm just added a header and a /n, which is representing the next line, and then semicolon. So this particular command append is a command through which we can add this data into the CSV file. So this is just for adding header, and it is optional. If you don't have header, you can directly add data. Even data also we need to use same method called append. I can say writer dot append. So here I'm directly adding the data by separating comma. So first the name, I can add some name called John, and some age, comma, some email like this. I'm added some data. So this data will be separated by comma. So like this, I can add as much data you want to have in CSV files. And yeah, so 3, 4, 5. So totally 5 sets of data I'm just added in my CSV file. And first one is header and rest of them are data. So here I'm just changing the names. Smith, here I say 25, and then I'm just changing the data accordingly. And here I can say Scott and 40 Scott. Okay, so let's have 3 records. So let me just try to remove. You can have n number of data if you want. So currently I have added one header and then I have written 3 lines in CSV file. So once you have written, then we have to close this file writer. So writer dot close. And after that, you can simply write one confirmation message, whether it is created or not. And here I'm writing simply CSV file created at. So where you have created CSV file inside this location. So that I'm going to prepare. It is just for confirmation. That's it. So this piece of code will create a new CSV file inside the data folder. And this is the data which is going to add in the CSV file. Now save it and then execute and see. Currently, I don't have any CSV files inside the data folder. Once you executed this code, so this will create a new CSV file which contains this particular data. So now you can see here CSV file is got created in this particular location. After that, you can just refresh the folder. Now you can see here, this is a example.csv file is got created. So if you want to open this, you can simply open like this, open with a text editor. So here you can see the data. And here this is a one record and this is another record and this is another record, but it is not printed in the proper lines, right? So we can slightly customize. So what we can do is once you, this is the header part, right? So as soon as you added every line, you can simply put one /n that will go to the new line. /n and here /n and here I'm just separating the lines. Each line I will write in separate line because /n is representing the new line. So after saving this, now close CSV file once again and execute one more time. I'm just running as a Java application. Now it is got created. Now refresh. Now this is a new file which is got created. Just open it with a text editor. Now you can see this is the data. So the data is separated with the comma. So this is the header and this is the data. So like this, we can create a new CSV file and we can add data into this. Okay. Now suppose I already have some data in my CSV file. So then how can we read it? So once you are able to read the data from CSV file, then we can use it for our automation or for testing. So let us see how to read the data from the CSV file. It's very simple. And there are 2 approaches are there. So one, by using scanner class, we can get the data from CSV file. The other one is we can use split method from Java. By using split method also, we can extract the data. Let me show you. So currently, this is a CSV file which we have created and which contains 3 lines. Now we want to read this data. So to read this data, I'm going to create another class. Okay, so I'll name it as CSV file reader and take this main method and say finish. Okay, now my file is already exist in my data folder, which contains 3 lines, which includes header. Now I want to read it. Again, as I said, there are 2 approaches. First, we'll see the first approach using scanner class. Using scanner class, we can read the data from the CSV file. Now, let us see how to read the data from the CSV file using scanner class. First thing, we need to create a file type of object, file equal to new file. And here we have to specify where exactly you have created a CSV file. Now my CSV file is present inside the data and this data folder is a part of my project. So dynamically, I'm getting the location of my project. I can say system.get get the property system dot get a property of user dot dir. So this will return your current project directory and concatenated inside this data folder. Inside this file name is what? Example dot csv, and then semicolon. So this is a file object first we need to create, and we need to import this file class from java.io. And once it is done, so this is the location of your file. From this we want to read the data. Fine. So now we need to create a one scanner class object. I can say scanner sc equal to new scanner. So normally the scanner class we use to take the input from the user from the console at runtime. When you pass system.in, so it will take the input from the user at runtime. And instead, I can just pass the file object here, so that this will able to read the data from the file which is representing the CSV file. Now import this scanner class. All right. So now this will throw some exception. Just add this. Now, so in the CSV file, all the data is separated with comma, right? So now we need to use something called delimiter. So in SE, we have a method called use delimiter. So here we need to specify in CSV file, the data is separated with the comma, right? So that is a delimiter. So that we have to specify comma. And so sometimes if you don't have a comma or other than comma, if you have any other character used as a delimiter or separator, you can specify that. Sometimes hyphen, sometimes underscore, sometimes at the rate. So these are all different delimiters. So how your CSV file is got created, how data is separated. So accordingly, you have to specify the delimiter. Currently in my CSV file, the data is separated with comma. So here I'm using delimiter comma. So it will set the delimiter pattern. So once it is set the delimiter pattern, and now the next command is we have to read the data by using this sc, because this is already open the file here. We passed it. So we don't know how many records or how many lines are there in the CSV file. So we have to read all the lines. So we can write one while loop. And here we don't know exactly how many lines are there. So first, before reading, let us check the particular line is available or not. If it is available, then read it. So sc dot has next. This is the method. So this will return true if the line is exist in the CSV file. And if line is not available, then returns false. So before reading, it will just check the line is exist in the CSV file or not. If yes, the condition becomes true. Then we have to read the data from scanner. So how to read it? System.out.println sc dot next. So this will read the string type of data from sc. And in every value, I will give one tab space. So I can append /t. So this is just for giving a tab space between the values. And after that, exiting the while loop, you can just close it. sc.close. So this is a way we can read the data from the CSV file. So let us try to execute this. When I run as Java application. Now in the console window, you can see this is a data. So this is the header part, and this is actual data which we have created. Okay, so this is how we can read the data. So if you want to print exact lines, you can simply say instead of println, you can simply say only print system.out.print. So this will print entire line in the single line like this. So it's simply a format change. Okay, so this is the one approach through which we can read the data from the properties file using scanner class. Now I'll show you another approach. By using split method also, we can read the data from the properties file. So let's comment this code. Now let us see another approach. Approach 2, using Java split method. Using Java split method. Okay. So how can we read the data now? So the first step, as usual, we need to store, we need to create a variable string which is representing CSV file path. So I can take one variable string, CSV file name, file name. And basically this is the path. Okay, so where exactly it is, we already specified here. So this is the location of my CSV file, so that I can specify. So from this particular file, we want to read the data. So for that, we have to use a special class called file reader class. And for that, I'm creating one object called reader equal to new file reader. And here we have to pass this file name from whichever CSV file we want to read the data, we have to just pass it. So this file reader class, we have to import from java.io package. And this is the reader object of the file reader. And then from this particular file, we want to read the data line by line. So whenever you want to read the data, but line by line, right? So we need to use something called buffer reader. We have to get the data in the buffer. From there, we want to read it. So we need to use some additional class buffered reader. Buffered reader, and I can create one more object bfr reader equal to new buffered reader. And whatever reader we created here, file reader object, that we have to pass. Okay, now we need to import this buffer reader class from again java.io. So now we have to use this object, buffer reader object, to read the data line by line. Okay, so what I will do is here I'm directly writing a while loop because we don't know how many number of lines are there in CSV file. So we want to read all the lines. So each and every line we will read one by one. So that I will store in a variable. So I'm taking one temporary variable called string line. Okay, that I'm going to use in the while loop. So first thing, from this buffer reader, we have to read the particular line from the CSV file. For that, we use one method called read line. So this method will read the line from the CSV file, and that is storing into a variable called line. Okay, and this particular line not equal to null, right? Once you read the line, it should have some content, otherwise we can't read it. So if it is not equal to null, then only we will able to read the data. So buffer reader dot read line, this will also throw exception, just add this IO exception. Now this is the condition. So we are reading the line from the buffer reader, that is storing into the line. If it is not equal to null, we have to read the line. We have to read the line from this variable. How to read it? First, we have to split the data, because the line is nothing but what? The line contains all the data. If I open and see CSV file, this is one line, this is another line, this is another line. Not just printing the lines, we have to split these values by separating comma, right? So for that, what we need to do is we have to use one method, line dot split, and based on what we have to split, delimiter is comma. So this will split entire line by using comma, and it will divide entire line into multiple parts. Let's suppose if you take this line, and what split method will do is split method will split this entire line into multiple pieces. This is one piece, this is another piece, this is another piece, this is another piece. Sorry, this is all one piece. So based on comma, it will separate three different values, and those three different values will be returned by this split. So we have to store them in string type of an array. So we will create one string type of an array. Let's call it as a data. Now the data is a string type of array which contains three values from the first line. So this is name is one value, age, and then email. So three values. Now from this particular array, we want to print all three values. So directly I'm writing one more inner for loop here. Enhanced for loop, basically for each loop. So from data, I'm reading string value one by one. And here I'm just printing, instead of print ln, just say print. Here I'm just printing the value directly. Along with this, I'm giving one tab space, so that as soon as I printed some value, I will give one tab space. So this particular for loop will read the data from this variable. So because we have a three inputs, this is one single line, and after splitting, array contains the 3 values, 1, 2, 3. All 3 values we have repeated and we have printed. After that, again, it will go up and get another line. Again, it will split. Again, it will print. So this will continue till the last line from the CSV file. Okay. And once this for loop is got exited, then first line is got printed all the values. Then I will jump to the next line to print another line. So here you can simply use just a println without having any values. So this is how we can write a logic for that. Now we can save this and let me close my CSV file and then execute. When I run as a Java application, see now we got the same data from the CSV file. Okay. So this is another way to read a CSV file using Java. Just we need to open file reader class where we have to pass file name, location, and through buffer reader, we can read the data. And by using read line, it will read each and every line from the CSV file. And then after that, we'll split. Suppose sometimes data is splitted by using hyphen or underscore. Then we have to change this delimiter accordingly. Okay. So how data is got separated in the CSV file. So based on that, we need to change the delimiter accordingly. The data will be split into the array and we are reading it. And finally, we get entire data from the CSV file. So you can have as much of data you have in CSV file. Finally, we will be able to get all the data from the CSV file. So this is another approach. By using split method, we can capture the data from the CSV file. Okay. So reading data from the CSV file, and then we can also write data into CSV file, or we can create a new CSV file along with the data. So this particular file you can open in the Excel sheet, or you can directly open is by using any text editor. So Eclipse by default, it is provided text editor. You can open this and you can see the data. Or other than Eclipse, if you still want to open the CSV file, you can still open with the Excel sheet. Okay. So this is how we can simply work with the CSV files in Java. All right. So that's all for this video. Next video, we'll see another file. Thanks for watching.